If you are applying for an HEC scholarship at MS or MPhil level, there is one number that should change how you spend the next 2 months. Your bachelor's degree, the 4 years of work, the transcript you are proud of, counts for 40% of your merit score. The HAT, a 2-hour paper you have not sat yet, counts for 60%. In this roadmap, I'll show you exactly what is on that paper, how the weightage changes depending on your field, and how to prepare for it properly. Here is the reality, stated plainly. For an MS or MPhil scholarship, HEC calculates merit as 60% of your HAT score plus 40% of your bachelor's score. For a PhD, it is 50% HAT and 50% of your combined bachelor's and master's record. Read those weightings again. The single test you have not yet sat carries more weight than the entire degree behind you. And that leads to the conclusion that should reorganize your whole study plan. Your degree marks are finished. Nothing you do in the next 2 months can move them by a single point. Your HAT score is the one input that is still completely open. So the only lever you have left happens to be the heaviest one on the scale. That is either terrifying or liberating, depending on when you start. So let's define it properly. HAT stands for the Higher Education Aptitude Test. It is run by the Educational Testing Council, which is the testing arm of the Higher Education Commission. You register for it online through the ETC portal at etc.hec.gov.pk. That portal is the only place your registration is real. Here is the paper in numbers, and I want you to memorize this table. 100 multiple choice questions. 120 minutes. No negative marking at all. The qualifying score is 50 out of 100. And your result stays valid for 2 years. Every one of those 5 facts has a strategy hidden inside it, and we'll unpack all 5 before the end. Something a lot of candidates miss. This one test does 2 separate jobs. It gets you admitted to an MS, MPhil, or PhD program at a Pakistani university. And it is used to shortlist and rank you for HEC scholarship schemes. The score is the same score, but the bar is nowhere near the same, and confusing those 2 bars is the most common planning mistake I see. So let's separate them now. 50 out of 100 is the qualifying mark. It means your paper counts, and you are eligible. But a scholarship is not awarded to everyone who is eligible. It is awarded down a ranked merit list until the seats run out. So 50 gets you into the pool. It does not get you funded. Aim well above the qualifying line, because your competition is. On eligibility, the rule is 16 years of education, or the recognized equivalent. The registration fee is 2,000 rupees and it is non-refundable and non-transferable, so do not pay it until your form is correct. And usefully, HEC does not run this test once a year. There are several sittings across the calendar, which as you'll see later is the basis of a genuinely good strategy. Now we get to the part that most preparation advice completely skips, and it is the reason generic HAT advice fails so many people. HAT is not a single uniform paper. It is split into 5 streams, chosen by your academic discipline. And critically, the streams do not weight the 3 sections the same way. Pick the wrong preparation plan for your stream and you will spend your best hours on your smallest section. These are the 5. HAT 1 covers engineering, computer science, mathematics, statistics, and physics. HAT 2 is management sciences and business education. HAT 3 is arts, humanities, social sciences, psychology, and law. HAT 4 is agriculture, veterinary sciences, biological and medical sciences, education, and media. And HAT General serves religious studies and madrasa graduates. Find yourself on that list before you go any further. And this is the single most useful table in the whole video. These are HEC's approved content weightages for the regular streams. In HAT 1, quantitative reasoning is the heaviest block at 40%. In HAT 2, analytical reasoning takes 40%. In HAT 3, 4 and general, English and verbal reasoning is the biggest at 40%. Screenshot this slide. Everything else in your study plan should follow from the row that applies to you. Let me make that concrete with 2 candidates. An engineering student sitting HAT 1 faces a paper where 40 marks come from quantitative reasoning and only 30 from English. A law student sitting HAT 3 faces the mirror image, 40 marks of English and verbal reasoning and only 25 of quantitative. Same test name. Effectively two different subjects. If those two people study from the same guide, at least one of them is wasting their time. This is why the most repeated piece of HAT advice on the internet is only half right. Just memorize vocabulary lists. For an HAT 3 candidate, vocabulary sits inside the 40% block, so that advice is reasonable. For an HAT 1 candidate, it sits inside their smallest section, while a 40% quantitative block goes untouched. The rule is simple: decide weightage first, content second. Never the other way round. Time for question 1, and this one is straight off the table you just saw. In HAT 1, the engineering and computer science stream, which section carries the most weight? A. English and verbal reasoning at 30%. B. Analytical reasoning at 30%. C. Quantitative reasoning at 40%. Or D. They are all equal. Pause the video and commit to an answer. The answer is C. Quantitative reasoning, at 40%, is the largest single block on the HAT 1 paper. If that is your stream, quantitative goes first in your plan, gets the most hours, and gets revisited most often. Not because it is the hardest, but because it is where the most marks physically are. Let's go through the three sections properly, starting with quantitative reasoning. This is not advanced mathematics. It is arithmetic under time pressure. Percentages and ratios. Averages, profit and loss. Time, speed, distance, and work. Basic algebra and simple geometry. And data interpretation, which means reading a table or a graph and answering a question about it. Nothing here needs calculus. All of it needs speed. So attack it accordingly. Learn your percentage to fraction conversions cold, because knowing that 25% is 1/4 turns a calculation into a glance. Learn your tables up to 20 and your squares up to 25. Practice on paper without a calculator, because that is the real condition. And learn to estimate first, then look at the options, because in a multiple choice paper an estimate often eliminates 3 of them instantly. And here is the mindset shift that separates a fast candidate from a slow one. In a multiple choice paper, you are not being asked to produce the exact answer. You are being asked to identify the correct option. Those are different tasks. Look at the 4 choices before you start calculating. Very often 2 of them are obviously too large or too small, and you have halved the problem before doing any arithmetic at all. Section 2, Analytical Reasoning. This is structured logic. Seating arrangements and ordering puzzles, where you place people or items against a set of rules. Grouping and matching problems. Syllogisms, which are the all A or B style deductions. Cause and effect and assumption questions. And the classic blood relation and direction problems. Remember, this is the 40% block for the management and business stream. The single best piece of advice for this section is, draw it. Do not attempt these in your head. Draw a grid for seating and matching problems and fill in what is certain before you guess anything. Draw overlapping circles for syllogisms. Sketch the arrows for direction problems. Candidates who solve these mentally are slower and less accurate than candidates who spend 10 seconds drawing. Every time. Question 2, and it is a syllogism in the exact shape HAT likes. All kappas are lambdas. No lambdas are mu's. Which of these must be true? A. All mu's are kappas. B. No kappas are mu's. C. Some kappas are mu's. Or D. All lambdas are kappas. Draw the circles, then pause and answer. The answer is B. Draw it and it becomes obvious. Every kappa sits inside the lambda circle. The lambda circle and the mu circle do not overlap at all. So nothing inside lambda can also be a mu, which means no kappa can be a mu. D is the classic trap, because all kappas are lambdas does not mean all lambdas are kappas. Reversing a statement is the most common error in this section. Section 3, English and Verbal Reasoning. Vocabulary, but tested in context rather than as isolated definitions. Synonyms and antonyms. Sentence completion. Grammar and error correction. And reading comprehension, where you read a passage and answer questions on it. For HAT 3, 4 and General, this is your 40% block and it deserves the largest share of your hours. Now, about those vocabulary lists. They are not useless, they just have a low ceiling, because English has far more words than any list has entries. So build from roots instead. Learn common prefixes, suffixes and Latin roots, and one root will unlock a dozen words you have never seen. Read a newspaper editorial every day, because that is the register the passages are written in. Practice comprehension against a clock from the very first week. And keep a log of words you actually encountered, which beats any generic list. Now let's turn those 5 paper facts into strategy, starting with the biggest one. There is no negative marking on HAT. Nothing is deducted for a wrong answer. Which means a blank is strictly worse than a guess, always, with no exception. An unanswered question is a guaranteed 0 that you volunteered for. There should not be a single empty bubble on your answer sheet when time is called. And the arithmetic backs it up. With 4 options, a blind guess is a 1 in 4 chance, 25%. Eliminate one option you know is wrong and it becomes 1 in 3. Eliminate 2 and it is a coin flip. With no penalty for a wrong answer, every one of those is free expected marks. So the rule is absolute, never leave anything blank. Next number, timing. 100 questions in 120 minutes gives you an average of 72 seconds per question. But averages hide the problem. A reading comprehension passage or a multi-rule seating puzzle will take you well over 2 minutes. Which means, mathematically, something else has to take well under 72 seconds to pay for it. That is not a nice to have. It is arithmetic. So use 3 passes. On pass 1, go from start to finish and answer only what you can do quickly and confidently. Do not stop for anything. On pass 2, return to the questions that need genuine work, now knowing exactly how much time you have for them. On pass 3, in the final minutes, put an answer on every question still empty. This one habit protects you from the classic disaster, where one stubborn question in the first 10 minutes quietly eats a quarter of your paper. Question 3, and this is the one that actually shows up on exam day. You have 8 minutes left and 9 questions with no answer on them. HAT has no negative marking. What do? A. Leave them blank. B. Solve 3 properly and leave 6. C. Mark an answer on all 9. Or D. Answer only the ones that look easy. Pause and decide. The answer is C. Mark all 9, then go back and improve any you have time for. 9 blind guesses on 4 option questions have an expected value of a bit over 2 marks. 9 blanks are worth exactly 0, guaranteed. B feels responsible and is quietly the worst of the realistic options, because it trades a certain 2 marks for 3 you might have got anyway. Fill everything first. Refine second. Now the 5th number, and it is the most underused. Your HAT score stays valid for 2 years, and HEC runs several sittings within that window. That combination gives you something rare in Pakistani testing, a real second attempt, with the best score in the window being the one used. Which changes how you should think about your first sitting entirely. So stop treating your first attempt as a one-shot verdict. Sit it early and treat it as a diagnostic. Attempt 1 tells you, under real conditions, which section is genuinely costing you marks, which no mock test at home tells you honestly. Then you spend your preparation attacking that one section instead of revising everything equally. Then attempt 2 converts it. Candidates who plan for 2 attempts inside the validity window consistently outperform candidates who wait until they feel ready. Let's turn all of this into a plan. 8 weeks, 4 blocks. Weeks 1 and 2 are diagnosis. Confirm which stream you are in and write its weightage at the top of your notebook. Sit 1 full past paper untimed, just to see the shape of the thing. Log every single mistake by section, not by topic, because you are looking for the pattern. And begin the daily editorial reading habit now, because verbal ability is the slowest to move. Weeks 3 and 4. Now you attack the heaviest block on your specific paper, whichever the weightage table said it was. That section gets roughly half of all your study hours in this phase. Work topic by topic and drill each one until it is fluent rather than merely familiar. And practice in time sets of 20 questions rather than full papers, because short sets let you fix a weakness the same day you find it. Weeks 5 and 6. Switch the focus to your second heaviest section, but do not abandon the first, because an untouched skill decays fast. 15 minutes a day is enough to keep it warm. And at the end of week 6, sit your first genuinely full, genuinely timed paper. Same start time you expect on exam day, same 2 hours, no pauses. What you learn from that sitting is worth more than another week of topic drills. Weeks 7 and 8 are simulation. 2 full-timed papers a week, and review every wrong answer the same day while you still remember what you were thinking. Deliberately practice the 3-pass method in each one so it is automatic rather than a plan. And taper properly. The last 3 days are for revising your own error log and your own notes only. Do not meet a brand new topic in the final 72 hours. One tool holds that whole plan together, and it is a single page. 3 columns. The question type, why you got it wrong, and the fix. Not the answer, the reason. Because when you write out why, you discover that you did not miss 20 different questions. You missed the same 3 mistakes, 7 times each. Misreading the question. Reversing a syllogism. Rushing an arithmetic step. Fix the pattern and a whole cluster of marks comes back at once. A short administrative checklist, because every cycle people lose their seat to paperwork. Register on the ETC portal and nowhere else. The 2,000 rupee fee is non-refundable, so get the form right before you pay. Double-check that you have selected the correct stream for your discipline, because that decides your paper. Check that your name and CNIC match your documents exactly. And download your roll number slip as soon as it is available. And the test day version. Bring your roll number slip and your original CNIC arrive early, because reporting times are enforced and a rushed start costs you the first 10 minutes of thinking. Read the instruction page properly rather than skimming it. Start the 3-pass method from question 1, not from whenever you begin to panic. And when time is called, there must be nothing blank on your sheet. Now your turn, and I read every comment on these. Of the 3 sections, which one is genuinely weakest for you right now? Quantitative, analytical, or verbal? Comment your stream and your weakest section below. If enough of you name the same one, that section gets its own full drill video next, built the same way as this one. Before the recap, one honest caution, and I would rather say this than sell you certainty. HEC publishes the official syllabus, the test calendar and the scholarship merit criteria on its own website in the ETC portal. Check them there. And understand that scholarship merit cutoffs are not fixed numbers. They move every cycle, because they depend on how many seats exist and who applied. Anyone promising you a guaranteed cutoff score for a future cycle is guessing. And let me be equally clear about what this video deliberately does not contain. I have not given you an exact scholarship cutoff score, because that number does not exist in advance. I have not claimed to know which questions will appear. Every figure in this video comes from what HEC and the Educational Testing Council actually publish. That is a smaller promise than some channels make, and it is the only honest one. Quick recap. The HAT is 60% of your MS merit and 50% at PhD level, so it outweighs your transcript. Your stream sets your weightage, and your study plan follows that row and nothing else. 50 out of 100 qualifies, but merit lists rank, so aim far higher. There is no negative marking, so never leave a blank. You have about 72 seconds per question, so run 3 passes. And the 2-year validity gives you a real, plannable second attempt. Your degree is finished and its marks are locked. The 60% is still completely in your hands, and 8 focused weeks is genuinely enough to move it. Comment your stream and your weakest section below, subscribe for the full drill videos on quantitative, analytical, and verbal, and I'll see you in the next guide. Good luck!